Hi, Vinny Falkowski here. I have a presentation on end-of-month reports that are provided by the Society to the chapters. In this tutorial, you will learn the role of the Vice President of Membership, what's in the end-of-month reports, what each file in the report represents, how to use the reports, how to use Microsoft Excel, how to find statistics in your data, conclusions, and questions. The role of the Vice President of Membership can be found in the ASPE P&O Manual, Chapter 6, Chapter Leadership. The Chapter Vice President of Membership is the membership administrator for the chapter. The Vice President of Membership is responsible for maintaining an accurate roster of the chapter's members, reviewing for completion, accuracy, and proper classification, applications for membership and applications for advancement of membership, also ensuring the appropriate fees and dues amounts are submitted with applications. Working with the Society Vice President of Membership, the Membership Committee, and the Membership Director as necessary. Chairing the Chapter Membership Committee, including planning and implementing membership recruitment programs, membership retention. Participating in the Society's Membership Council. All Chapter Vice Presidents of Membership are members. It's automatic, including attendance at the council meetings held at the biannual ASPE convention, or these telephone conferences where we talk about membership ideas. Preparing appropriate sections of the chapter's annual report, writing articles for the chapter newsletter. The Chapter Vice President of Membership also may be responsible for planning, organizing, and conducting chapter social events. End-of-month reports from ASPE. The end-of-month reports are typically sent by the Society Director of Membership and include a series of files: the roster, new pending file, final notice, update list, and membership standings. A word on confidentiality. Chapter officers are the guardians of the chapter information. The chapter files are to be closely guarded and protected from improper distribution of sensitive member information. The files are not to be used for any other use except for official chapter business. The contact information in these files should be protected from unauthorized use by others. It's confidential. Roster. The roster provides officers with a complete list of active members that have chosen to affiliate with their local chapter. The file contains contact information on each member. The file includes the member's birthday, membership number, join date, and date of membership expiration. Chapters can use the list to see their demographic composition by member types. New pending. The pending roster reflects new members who have joined and are awaiting approval from the Society VPM. Once the VPM has approved the application and the record has been updated to active status, the member will be reflected on the next chapter roster. The final notice reflects the list of members that are scheduled to expire on the last day of that particular month. The final notice list is vital to our retention efforts. If VPMs have been talking to their members during their membership year, calling them will be easy. If regular engagement is not occurring routinely, then reaching out to this list will be perceived as a solicitation to renew. VPM should try to get them to renew and determine the reason a member has lapsed. Update list. This list reflects members who have updated their contact information, either by making those changes directly in their ASPE accounts or by calling the membership department directly to have their information updated. Chapter VPM should regularly be asking members to keep their ASPE accounts current. ASPE chapter officers can also provide updated information back to the Director of Membership. Membership standings. Also provided in the EOM report is the membership standings file listing all chapters, overseas, and at-large member data. The file can be used to see how your chapter compares to other chapters within the Society. Lesson 1. What data is in your roster? Taking the first row of the roster and changing it into a format so that you can define it The steps will be demonstrated in the video in the next slide. This is an example of a roster. This particular example happens to be from the New York City chapter. So the best way to break down what exactly is in this file is to look at that first row, A1 through V1. So I'm going to highlight A1 through V1 and I'm going to hit copy. I'll create a new sheet and I'll start in A1 and I'll label it column A. Then I'm going to go down all the way to V. So B, C, all the way down to V. I'm going to highlight B1 through B22, select paste, paste special, transpose, and click OK. These are the column headings now in vertical format. Let's open them up and take a look at them. I'm going to double click that little line between the B and the C and the field will open up. Person ID is a number that the system assigns each person when they join ASPE. Member designated prefix is Mr., Miss, Mrs., etc. Person's name is the name of the member. Title is their title. P phone, P company, address 12, P city, P state, and P zip. Those are all the primary contact information for the members that they provided at the time of joining, or if they changed it through the system. This is their preferred method of written correspondence. Date updated is a day in which a staff member updated a particular member through renewal or to correct information, so on and so forth. Chapter code is a 2-letter designation for the chapter. In New York's case, it would be NY. Mem status is the status of the member. Hopefully they're all active and participating in your chapter. Member since is the date they joined ASPE and their information was entered into the system. Birthday is self-explanatory. That's the day they were born. Chapter name is the full chapter name of the chapter. Membership type is full, associate, affiliate, special, government, etc., retired, presidential. Valid to is the date that a member is valid under their current period. Region would be the region the chapter and the member are in. Email is their primary contact information by email. Lesson 2. What's our demographics? Knowing the composition of your chapter is helpful in determining your audience in the chapter, at chapter meetings, or during presentations. It enables chapter leaders to make more informed decisions for content for meetings or for how to better engage your members. The next slide demonstrates how to make a pivot table to analyze your roster and determine the demographic makeup of your chapter. In this example, we're going to use the Boston roster to determine their composition. Start in cell A1. Hit Shift, Control, the right arrow. Holding the Shift, Control, right arrow, you're going to hit the down arrow. You've selected all the data in the Boston roster. We're going to click on Insert, Pivot Table. We want a new worksheet, and we're going to hit OK. In this screen, you're going to want to select a member type. Click and drag it down to rows. It's going to show you the types of members that make up this chapter. You need to count a field that is fully populated, and the best one to use is ASPE Membership ID. Drop it into Values. Right-click anywhere in this group under Count. Well, Count tells you it's the right one, but if it's not Count, here are your choices. Sum, Count, Average, so on and so forth. We want Count. We're going to sort this by going into Data, Z to A to get the biggest on top. We can see that the makeup of the Boston chapter is predominantly full members. We can get the percentages very easily. Go to cell C4 and type in equal B4 divided by B13. B13 is the grand total. And anywhere in B13, you're going to want to hit F4 to fix it. See the $B, $13, that's a little Excel trick, so that every time you copy this formula down, the B13 will always remain B13. So let's copy this down, and I'm going to use Control D, which is fill down. Then I'm going to go back to the home page, select the percentage. Now we can see that 58% of the Boston chapter are full members, 25% are affiliate, and 8% are associate. Well, another little helpful trick, if you click on the top 3, they usually make up most of the chapter. And down in the lower right in Excel, it'll tell you the sum is 90%. So 90% of the Boston chapter falls in full, affiliate, and associate. Working with dates in Microsoft Excel is a more advanced discussion. In the next slide, we will demonstrate how to build a formula to determine if a member is the ASPE Young Professional using the birthday field. Then we'll determine how to search for birthdays by month. I'm using the Chicago roster to demonstrate how we determine if a member falls into the AYP category. The best way to do this is to kind of break the formulas down into manageable size formulas. So I created get rounded age, test birthday value, and is AYP. Let's start with column W. We're going to start by typing in equals and then round. Double set of parentheses now, minus Q2, end parentheses, divided by 365 days in a year, comma, we want to round to 0 because we don't want decimals in our age, end bracket. Next, we are going to copy this all the way down to the bottom. There's almost 300 members in Chicago, so we have to go a little ways. There we go, 277. When we get to the bottom of the data, we're going to hit Control D, which is paste down, copy down. These are the ages of all the members in Chicago rounded. You'll see in, let's see, W28, there's a pound value exclamation point. That's an error. What that's telling you is that the birthday format in Q28 is somehow flawed. So we're going to do the next test, which is test birthday value, to eliminate those. We're going to type in equals, is error, comma, W2, and bracket. False. So that's good. We're going to bring this all the way down. It's going to return false or true. I see we're going to have a couple of them. Control down. These formulas are in. So we have a couple of cases where we don't have birthdays. They either weren't collected, they're in error. Originally ASPE didn't collect birthday data. We do now. So now we have to test to see if test birthday value equals false, are they an AYP or not? If it's true that there's an error, we're going to just produce a 0. We're not going to have an AYP there. So we're going to type equals. If x2 equals true, that's a function within Excel. You put it in all caps, comma, 0. So if there's an error, we're just going to return 0, meaning no, it's not an AYP. Comma, we're going to test again if, parentheses, or, because we have to use the or here, W2 is less than 35, comma, W2 equals 35, end parentheses, comma, 1, else 0, 2 closing parentheses. So the 0 says that this first member, Person ID 1645 is not AYP. Kind of makes sense. The get rounded age is 79. So let's take this formula down to the bottom. Control D, again, paste that formula down. There are a number of 1s and 0 in this column. The 1s are your AYPs. So we select A1. We're going to use the same pivot table formula that we've demonstrated before. We're going to hit the Shift, Control, right arrow, and then holding that down, we're going to hit the down arrow. Click on Insert, Pivot Table, New Worksheet. Okay. We're going to grab that last is AYP and throw it in here. It's going to be yes or no. And then we'll grab the ASPE member ID and we'll do a count. So looking at this formula, we have 231 no's, not AYP, and 46 AYP. Lesson 3 recap. In this slide, you have the formulas for get rounded age, test birthday value, and is AYP. Lesson 4. How do I group birthdays for use in the newsletter? Using the last example, we will add a column to determine whose birthday falls within a given month. From the summary pivot table, we will demonstrate how to get a list of a particular month to add to your newsletter. In our last example, we determined if a member was an AYP or not. Using the Chicago roster again, we're going to determine what month a member's birthday falls in. Then we're going to format their month and day so that it sorts as their birthday occurs during the month. So in column Z, I created a field called B-Day month. And in column AA, I created a field called B-Day MMDD. So we're going to go into Z2 and we're going to type in a formula. It's going to equal if X2 equals true, comma, quote, quote, return, that's going to return a null value, which is nothing, means there'll be nothing in the cell if there's an error in X2, comma, month, parentheses, Q2, because we're going to test what month cell Q2 falls in, and then we're going to end with an extra parentheses. So the member 1645 has a birthday in April. So Q says 4/21, that is April, so that is correct. Let's do B-Day MMDD. This is going to equals if, same error, X2 equals true, comma, return null if it is an error, comma, text, parentheses, month, Q2 on parentheses, ampersand, which is concatenate in this case, quote, hyphen, quote, insert a hyphen in between the month and day, ampersand, which is again is concatenate, day, Q2, and parentheses, comma, quote, MM/DD, that's the format for the text function, close parentheses, close parentheses. Okay, that worked. We're going to come back and we're going to highlight 4, press the shift down, hold the shift down and press the right arrow, and then we will use page down to get to the 277 members. We get to the bottom of the roster. Control D will fill both column Z and AA. There we go. I'm going to return back up to A1. I'm going to hit the Shift, Control, right arrow. It'll go all the way to AA. Then while holding the Shift and the Control button, I'm going to press the down arrow to grab all of the data in this roster. I'm going to click on Insert, Pivot Table, New Page. There it goes. Now we select B-Day month. There's 1 through 12, and the errors are blank. We will select ASPE membership ID and put it in values, and it worked. It's count of membership. So January, there's 20 January birthdays, 25 February, 15 March, 24 April, so on and so forth. So let's pick a month. I am partial to November, so we're going to double click on the 22 in November. These are the members that have birthdays that fall in month 11. Let's hide some of the columns. We don't need all of this stuff. We'll hide that. We'll take the name out to birthday, and then we'll hide the rest of this right till the last field that we created. Hide. Okay, let's open this up so we can read the names. So these are all the birthdays that fall, all the members who have birthdays that fall in November. And obviously, if you wanted to print this for your newsletter, you'd want to use this column AA and sort from the 1st of November through the 30th of November. We can hide the rest of these columns. Voila. This is how you would produce a birthday list for members whose birthday fell in November or fall in November. This slide is a recap of Lesson 4, How Do I Group Birthdays? You have the close-up of the screenshot with the November birthdays, and you have the formulas on how to find those birthdays. Tutorial recap. In this tutorial, you've learned the role of the Vice President of Membership, what's in the end-of-month reports, what each file in the report represents, how to use the reports, some basics on Microsoft Excel, and how to find statistics in your data.